So my first board for the 2+1 is going to be the CI Mid Twin. It's this guy right behind me. The story goes with this board, I've been riding this board for a few years. It's a little bit yellow. It's actually got quite a few dings on it. The evolution of this board was from the CI Mid, which came out, gosh, 5 years ago. I didn't grow up riding twin fins. I rode the sort of 1+2 high performance longboards. Then I got into single fin logs. I rode fishes here and there, but I was never like a true twin fin person. So it was a lot of fun to really embrace this and try a lot of the different types of fin setups we have. And the one that I got really into that kind of took this to the next level for me was a keel fin. It was an AMK template, and it was like a full-bodied fin that just has a lot of down the line speed. I mean, I've ridden this board a ton, probably more than just about any board I have. And there was a day at Lower Trestles, and Lower Trestles is a high-performance shortboard wave. It's not a place you typically think of for mid-lengths or logs. And there's a day when I threw in these AMK fins. I was kind of playing around trying to figure it out in early days in developing the board. That particular session just sort of opened a doorway in my mind of what's possible on these boards. I know that sounds a bit hyperbolic and ridiculous, but these boards are all about feels, and that particular day stands out. The reason I chose this as the one of the two was just, I want to go fast. So it's that easy. And if I have to make a decision at the end of the day, it's going to be going as fast as I can. So this board, dimension-wise, 6'11", 21 1/8, 2 3/4. And you know, this type of surfing is a bit different than a shortboard and a longboard. It's what I call rail surfing. So on a shortboard, you're riding a lot off the tail and off the fins. There's a lot of maneuvers that have to do with releasing the board, whether you're throwing the fins out the back or you're sliding. With this type of board, if you watch someone who I think is really riding them the way they're sort of intended to be, is they're utilizing all of this rail. And if you look at a bottom turn, you'll see a lot of times 3/4 or more of the board is buried. And for the design to work well with that, you need to have a rail that's not too thick. You want that nice under the palm feel. It doesn't feel like a big boat. When we went to Mexico with the Katin team, that was the first time I rode one that was a lot bigger and thicker. I had this idea that I'm gonna do a step-up version, and it's just gonna be so sick because I'm gonna get in early. And I had a good time, and don't get me wrong, I got some really nice waves, but looking back on it, pushing this design with too thick of a rail changes not only the way that the board knifes, but it changes the flex pattern. And I think that's something that's a little underestimated on these boards, is how much of a role flex plays. So there's certain constructions out there that are mold laminations and the pop-out boards. I don't like those because I just don't like the way they flex. So I think that's the kind of the magic part, is keeping this thing nice and foiled. And so that would be my first board. The second board of this 2+1 series, we've been working on this for the last 1.5 years. This is a very, I would say, traditional California style Noserider. Has all of Wayne's bells and whistles, things that he's worked on the last couple decades with a lot of really great surfers here in Southern California. This board is very traditional. The rails are turned up, which invites water up on the deck, which helps you nose ride. Really good nose riders hold water up on the tail and hold it really hard like that so that the tail doesn't drop out. I don't typically love 3-stringers. I find them to be a bit stiff. But when you have 3 pieces of wood that are close together, they're still close enough in the center that you get torsional flex. And torsional flex is something that I'm really into with mid-lengths. It also transfers over to longboards, especially if you're someone who likes to really push your board in the pocket. If you've ever gotten on a board that has 3 stringers or is mold laminated, they feel really stiff. And people will say, oh, the board's too buoyant. I would argue that the board just isn't flexing enough. And when you can get into a bottom turn situation or cutback and the board twists just enough, and then as you come out of the bottom turn or the cutback, there's sort of a pop and a spring to it. It tees up the pace of the whole wave. And the dance that you can do on a longboard with really good flex and, you know, a nice stable platform, which is what I think Wayne has done a really good job of. The guy's an expert. You know, what makes a good longboard is a pretty subjective thing. When I'm looking for what I find to be the magic boards, I've learned over time that rocker can be your friend. I used to be really focused on super duper low rocker because they go fast. I also find that as I'm getting older and getting more clumsy, my feet, I don't move like I used to, not as quick. Having a little more rocker, I think allows for a greater sweet spot on the board. So if I make a mistake, I pick the wrong line, having that extra rocker, if it gets really sketchy and cupping up and bowling out, I've gotten out of some sketchy situations by just having that little bit of extra rocker. So it's a personal thing. Luckily, I have Wayne Rich and it's all figured out, so I'm good. For my +1, which is usually my wife, this is a different kind of +1. I go with record player, so I'm gonna bring that over here and we'll check it out. That work? Yeah. I brought just a few. We have boxes and boxes full in this garage, in there. We don't want to put you to sleep. You know, I went into cassettes, CDs, always had some records, and then later in life, got a little nostalgic, came back to vinyl. Now, when you have kids, you sort of change your mind again with vinyl. You're like, man, maybe we should go back to digital. You don't like that one? Oh, that's a good one. Good call. Okay, so we got Booker T and the MGs. This is Soul Limbo. I wonder if this is, I wonder which peer this is. I'm thinking maybe that's Hermosa. I don't know. Kingston Trio. I mean, we could go all day long. We were into super chuggy sort of Hawaiian stuff, and man, I don't know. I could talk all day about music. Noserider, mid-length, vinyl, the essentials for life.